And we are back. We are back. We are back. Welcome back to Podcastathon 2025. I've been your host for the whole conversation. My name is Kyle King. I'm the founder of the Culture Lab. I've been the host of the Contagious Culture podcast. And the goal of our organization, and even today, is to help you create environments where people thrive. We've had phenomenal conversations throughout the whole day. We started the day with really just breaking down what leadership is and then vision with balance, how empathy and power can heal American organizations, what that accountability and that strategy looks like. We continued through the day with leading with strategy, developing teams through emotional intelligence. And then we introduced this idea of AI to the perspective of building organizations that think, not just implement. Then we continued and talked about how do we develop story-driven success, how to attract your people through powerful branding and marketing. And then we sprinkled in a little bit of emotional intelligence in that conversation as well. And then we had two just phenomenal people for our 1 o'clock episode where we talked about AI for impact. One of our colleagues came up from Donor Search, which is an AI fundraising platform. And it was a great dialogue between a university executive as well as an executive of a fundraising platform. Then we talked about building your village. How can we turn those prospects into partners? What is the art of the ask and turning relationships into major gifts? And then what does it look like beyond the gift, sustaining meaningful donor relationships after the gift and building processes and implementing strategies so that we can be able to not just create success, but also scale success. And look, you already know what they say about the main act. When you're watching any boxing event, Floyd Mayweather comes last. Muhammad Ali comes last. And I'm just so excited for Cynthia to come up. And we're going to talk about all things AI and how it can simplify, strengthen, and scale not just fundraising, but how you do everything, not just how you do business, but how you live your life as well. And she's going to be talking about tools. She's going to be talking about a platform that she's built. She's going to be talking about the differences between predictability and generative AI, hopefully. I don't know. I have some special questions for her, but we're going to be talking about some fun topics. So if you have questions, if you have comments, put them in the chat because she is one that has a amazing vision, but not just somebody with vision. She's building it through academies and executing effectively. Cynthia, how you doing? You're on mute.
I'm amazing. What an introduction. That's what I'm talking about. I'm going to pay you later.
Let's go. I'll send you the invoice.
Yes. How are you today after 8 long hours?
I feel good. I really do. It's crazy. And I think, when you execute and you're the execute queen, when you execute on something, you realize just doing it will teach you more than what you could have learned in the planning stage. So I recognize now that I can only go live on LinkedIn for 4 hours until it cuts me off, and then I got to start it all over. I recognize that Facebook will give me a solid 7 hours, and then it cuts you off. So I recognize that YouTube is just that platform because it hasn't said anything. So many kinks, but so many things that from a back-end standpoint, people don't even realize. And I think we're so hard on ourselves as founders because we see all of the areas that we can do better. Yeah. But oftentimes, if you just create an amazing experience for the people that are watching and listening, people don't even really pick up on it. So I'm so excited to have this conversation. And before we really get into the meat of the conversation and the fruit of it, can you just talk about who you are and just, man, all of the great things that you're doing? I'm still energized from our first conversation.
Oh, awesome. Likewise as well, which is why I'm so happy to be here. My name is Cynthia Respert. Super happy to be here. Congratulations to the team on this amazing event all day. I've been tuning in and out, and it's been just some rich conversations. But my name is Cynthia Respert. I'm an AI solutions architect, and I help others leverage AI for purpose and profit. What does that really mean? So we look at AI systems and holistic solutions to solve real business problems. That's what it boils down to. And what I really like to lean in on is simplifying AI to make it approachable, to make it a way in which it's palatable so that people can take action. And I've created some environments for people to do that. And one is the AI Execution Club. And that is a global AI productivity program for doers, is what we say. And that's where you come in. It was birthed out of my, when you work in AI, but then you still have to learn AI, right? So I made this space to learn AI outside of what you do on a daily basis. And I raised my hand and 300 other people said, I do the same thing. Let's do it. Also run the AI Builder Academy, which we can talk about, where we transform curious learners into executors and creators. And then a great project we just got funding for that we can talk about later that we
Let's go. Now, when you opened up, you said, I help people leverage AI for profit. And what was the other P?
Purpose.
What does that actually mean in action?
For sure. So I love to work with mission-driven businesses, CEOs, teams, and organizations. I always like to start with the problem first. My background, I had decades and decades of ministry experience, and I'm just a heart-led leader. So when someone is really believing in what they do and they have that passion for that purpose, then it makes the engagement better. It makes the outcome that much sweeter, and the journey, because you'll have your ups and downs. It makes the journey better as well. So it's not a one-sided thing. So it's purpose and profits, because your profits can fuel your purpose.
That's good.
Can manage your purpose, right? So, and allow you to go further.
Can you talk to me about the story though? Like, what's the story behind these two amazing initiatives that you're running? From a professional standpoint, but what's the why that's fueling its success?
Yeah, so I got into AI because I started out as an operations professional, supply chain and logistics decades ago. But I've always searched for this efficiency rabbit, like, oh, we got to do it better. It's got to be a better way, got to be a better way. And at the same time, I was working and mentoring children and youth. So I had this creative side. So I wanted to make it efficient, but make it grand, right? Yeah. Make it creative. Let's do it in a creative way. So those things fuse together in my background and my history, but I've always wanted it to be more efficient, like to help people gain those efficiencies. And as AI, came about, it was just a natural trajectory to say, let me do this in this space, because you can 10x, 100x efficiencies with AI. So the initiatives that, AI Builder Academy was first, and that's where we believe in our brilliance, we build boldly, and we become the solution the marketplace needs. And that is based on shifting from a consumer mindset to a creator mindset. Women, we know the stats, women get less than 2% of VC funding, and in the early stages, we're adopting AI at a much slower rate. We're catching up though. We're catching up. I got to check the latest stats. But the purpose of that is to create an environment where women feel safe. Women feel like they can learn, they can ask those questions. And the most important thing, they can build. That's why it's called the AI Build Her, BUILDHER Academy. So that's just AIBuilderAcademy.com. And that's the purpose there. And then the Citizens of AI is a new initiative that I am stoked about. I am stoked about, because this takes AI education, again, make it simple, actionable, and practical, right? To the unshiny places, to the places where it doesn't look like the tech hubs. They're not going to the tech conferences. They're in the barbershops. They're in the community centers. They're in the community, they're in the liquor stores. They're in places that they're not talking about tech. So how do they get AI education? So partner and I created Citizens of AI, and that's basically an AI education for all. We have raised $250,250 for it. Because I pulled up and pitched at Black Girl Ventures and I won $250. So I didn't get to the second round for that one, but I'm counting it. So $250,250 we've raised to take AI education to those, again, unshiny places where everybody needs AI education.
Let me ask you this, because a lot of organizations, even similar to mine, are using AI to serve more of a profitability or an efficiency standpoint. But I like how you talk about the purpose-driven standpoint as well. I guess what distinguishes organizations that use AI to serve purpose from those that use it purely for efficiency and profitability?
I think it's a perspective of keeping the mission in mind.
Mm.
You know how when you start something, you can gear off track and kind of lean to the side,
Yeah.
but you don't stay focused. Or let me give you a practical example. If you're sitting on the couch watching Netflix and you started sitting up straight, but then by the end you're like, how did I start slouching?
Exactly.
What is happening here? There was this slow progression and degradation of your posture.
Mm.
It can be a slow progression and degradation of your mission, your vision, right? Staying centered on what you are called to do, right? So it starts with heart-led leaders, servant leadership, and staying focused on the vision. I'll give you an example. You asked for a story from the AI Builder Academy.
Yeah.
There's a young lady. We did a vibe coding session and we introduced Lovable, which is, if the audience doesn't know, this is a no-code, low-code tool that you can create apps just by prompts and words.
Okay.
And initially there were some bugs, and she said, "You know what? This thing don't work. This thing don't work. I don't. This is not for me." But later, by being in the environment, later on, this was maybe a month or two later, she was asked to step up and her and her husband lead a marriage ministry. And when she was asked to do that, they were having conversations, and she said, "You know what? I can make an app for this." Now, would she have done that if she was in that environment? Maybe not. So now she's tapped in to make an app for the marriage ministry. And she went a step further and said, not only are we going to be able to have couples connect here, but I'm going to make it monetizable where other ministries can sign up for this thing.
That's good.
So you see the purpose behind that, right? That's her passion, but it's also being in that environment to say, this is possible. Like she may not even had that thought if she had not had that quote unquote, what she thought was a failure in the environment. Oh, I don't understand this. 2 months later, now she's building an app, right? So it's that exposure to what's out there to show others what's possible.
I think it requires a mindset shift though, because I look at a lot of leaders. We are aware that AI is here. We're aware that technology is continuing to expand, evolve, and grow. But our mindset has to be in adopting these tools to be able to expand or grow what we're currently doing, how we're currently operating. So I guess the question is, what mindset shifts are necessary for leaders to completely embrace AI for creating, I guess, purpose-driven impact?
Absolutely love this question. And I'm going to say a quote that if anybody knows me, they know this quote. They're doing like this right now, right? But it's AI in its most ethical and responsible application. AI is intended to be an extension of us, not the extinction of us. And that means to amplify the very best parts of who you are. That means that this is an invitation to think higher, more strategically, more holistically. So the mindset shift is not, oh, the robots are going to take over the world, or, oh, this is going to wipe out all the people. Although we do have a very real economic impact that we're seeing with job losses right now, right? So we're not negating that, but new jobs will be created. The question is, who are you in the middle of this transition?
That's good.
Are you skill stacking right now? Are you skill stacking? How are you ensuring that you have a level of AI fluency, not just training? Because listen, you can train on something. This is a very practical example. So I was working with someone, they were practicing a speech. And I said, oh, you can use AI to help you do that. And they started to do that, but then they just began to read it. So you're reading it, but you're not really understanding what you're actually saying.
Exactly.
So for you to do that, this is for you to tap into understanding what's going on and not just putting a prompt in, right? What's under the hood right here? It's deeper than a prompt pact, right? We're distributing power, right? Not just prompts. We're distributing power. This is empowering you to achieve a different outcome. So that's the importance, is to have AI fluency, not just training on a tool here and there. Another thing I would say is to start with the problem. So the way you become a framework I have, an AI pro, is to take a pain point, rewire it, and optimize it with AI. You want to start with the problem. If you start with a tool and you get into the shiny tool syndrome, it's like, oh my gosh, this is great. This is great. This is great. You'll still have the problem at the end of the day because you just got caught up in the shiny stuff, right? One other mindset shift leading to that, what I just said, was sometimes it can be overwhelming in this space. So having a mindset that you have to learn everything all day, every day, or you're going to be behind and the world is coming to an end is a myth. You do need to have an intentional routine to develop AI agility and AI muscle memory so you can move in this AI space. But you have to start somewhere. Like, it's too overwhelming to learn, and all that mindset needs to shift, right? So if you take in all of these tools and you're just playing with videos and making cute stuff, right? AI is really powerful, and there's a place for that for sure. I'm not down giving any shade there, but the goal would be to use it to solve a problem or reimagine a passion. Take a passion, reimagine it, and obsess over it with AI.
I love what you mentioned earlier about skill stacking. And I think that there's a lot of people that are complaining about where AI is going and that it's taking jobs and all of these different things. But I said some data earlier where 79% of organizations are using AI or adopting it, but only 60% of them, 60% of them also say that they don't have enough AI skilled personnel, which is so powerful. And I was hoping that nobody missed it. And they were in the comment section talking about it earlier. What are some of the intentional skill sets, though, that business professionals, that leaders, that people in the midst of finding their next career path can be able to learn so that they can get certified in these things and it can make them more attractive to organizations?
Sure. The number one skill, the most critical skill, hold on to your seat, put your seatbelt on, is learning how to learn. And I say that because in this AI age, there's some fundamental things that you need to understand. What is a prompt? What is an LLM? You need to understand the language, right? But the minute you lock in on a tool that you think is, I'm going to stake my whole life, career, business model on this, Sam Altman and the team is going to come out with something to cannibalize it overnight. You go to bed an expert, you wake up a novice, right? Because something has been cannibalized. Exactly. Oh, that's old news. That's like email now, right? But you stake your claim on, this is it. This is all I'm going to do, because it's moving so quickly. So I would say that the most important skill is to learn how to learn. The other thing is that this is a mindset shift, is this season is not about your job. And I'm not saying that to be insensitive for those who have lost a job. People close to me are in that situation. That's not what I mean. What I mean is your skill set will be more important than your job title. It's no longer, I'm the CFO or I'm the this, I'm the that. This is outcome based. It will be very important that we understand that we're moving from a shift from doers to directors. And those who can direct and manage tangible outcomes will be the winner. So the skill stacking is, I know how to do that. I understand that. I've executed this. I've made this. I understand this. I understand how to do a live stream, and I understand I can't do the same thing on LinkedIn and Facebook and this because I execute. Exactly. You execute. That's how you learn that, right? So as you're doing this, now if you went and you were tapped by a major corporation tomorrow to do live streaming, you would understand, oh, well, wait a minute, the LinkedIn, you won't be able to do, right? Exactly. It's coming straight. It's right off the top of the dome because you've done it. So stack those skills, and then you'll be able to move to different parts of not just the workforce, but just the world and the AI economy, because there are jobs, there are opportunities that are going to happen that we don't even know exist yet. Like, we don't know, because they will be created in the future.
Can I talk about that? I want to talk about that, though. I think true innovation and leadership, in my opinion, is to be able to predict something that hasn't even happened yet and prepare for it. as if it's happening tomorrow.
I like that.
What do you believe that is one skill or job that will be needed 10 years from now that we can be starting to develop skill sets for now?
I'm going to pause for a moment and think about my answer, because the initial response was tradesmen. Electricians. Although, they're employee robots there too. But those handmade, a good friend of mine talks about this all the time, but those hand-to-hand combat jobs, those that require the artisan level activity of human involvement, interaction, will always be needed. Another thing that will always be needed is community. Community builders will be needed. What you're doing here will always be paramount, because the more we connect with technology, the more we need people. You are going to look, it might be right now. You look and say, is this person real or not? Is this ad real or not? And I did a survey. Some people I said, what's more important, the message or the messenger? And some said the messenger, some said the message. So it's like a split, right? So you see all this AI thing, and they call it AI slop when you just flood the market with this. And there'll be more because it's easier to create now, right? So people will long for human to human connection. Yeah. So community builders will always be key, regardless of where you are. And then again, I lean back. Because I don't have that crystal ball, but I do believe those that are leaning into agentic AI and understanding that. And
hold on. You talking to a kid that barely got through first grade, girl.
I can't tell.
No, what is that? Can you explain what that is and describe it?
Sure. And I know it's been a long day. Shout out to you for 8 hours. So agentic AI. So I'll put this in again. Maybe it's me teaching kids and mentoring kids for decades, but I love to simplify terms so people understand it. So I put it in a crawl, walk, run, fly kind of continuum. So crawling is like a chat bot on a website. Like when you do, hey, what time you open? We open at 3. It's kind of back and forth. That's that chat bot. The walking is more of like a GPT, a custom GPT. So in the environment of Chat GPT, you can carve out a little space.
Stands for
General pre-trained transformer.
Yeah, that's cool. Keep going.
So a custom GPT is a little part of your Chat GPT environment. You carve out and say, this is your job. You got one job, GPT. Work on this. And when I ask you this, you do this. That's what that is, right? So then you get to the run part. That's agentic AI. And the more and more we go higher, the less human involvement is required, right? So this is where agentic AI has a set of instructions, but then it goes and does that work and it learns as it goes.
Can you give me an example?
Yeah. So say for instance, if it's a research assistant and an agentic research assistant, to say, okay, these are the types of grants. We're talking about nonprofit. These are the types of grants that I'm looking for. It's these parameters. This is my mission. This is what we're looking for. I want due dates within the next 60 days. Always give me relevant information. You feed it all the things. It then goes out and does that every morning at 5 a.m. and then delivers it to your inbox, right? Without you prompting it. Again, you do it once, and then every morning at 5 a.m., you should have it in your inbox.
So what type of agentic? So is it agentic or gentic?
Agentic.
Okay. What type of tool?
Tomato, I don't know.
What type of tools out there could I invest in now that could do that? Because I think that a lot of times, and we talked about this a little earlier, we're only talking about the Chat GPTs or the Claude or the Perplexity. What are other tools out there that could do that type of work where I could do one thing one time and it could do the rest for me? I like that.
Why I love that? Why I love that question is because sometimes we think like, oh my gosh, I need to, what's the next new best thing that I need to get to achieve this? Where's the new thing? I got to be, guess what does that? Chat GPT. And I can walk you through it later. So you what you do, so they have agent mode in ChatGPT. Okay, let me go back to the crawl, walk, run real quick. Okay,
Yeah.
the run was the agentic AI, and that's where we're gonna land back in a minute. Then the fly is autonomous. So that's when you think about Waymo and the self-driving Ubers and stuff like that. Okay, so crawl, walk, run, fly. So now agentic, if you are in ChatGPT, you can go and get into agent mode. That's a little plus sign that's there. Get into agent mode and feed it those things. Oh, go ahead and do it. I see you want to try it.
No, I want to try it. So go ahead.
So you go into agent mode and you give it those parameters and say, this is what I want. I'm looking for this, this, and this. These are the parameters. This is who I am. And if you've trained ChatGPT on who you are, it knows some of that already. So then it will show you, I'm searching this website. It'll show your work. It'll show their work, right? I'm searching this website. Okay, I'm searching this website. Okay, I'm thinking about this. I'm doing this. The user wants this. So it's showing you the work behind the scenes. And it usually takes longer because it's going to work. It goes to work for you while you at the gym. It's working. And then you get up at 5 a.m. or whenever and you check it. It should be delivered to your inbox because you say, I want this delivered. Give me this result every Monday at 5 a.m. And then it will be a new thread in your ChatGPT environment with that. And there should also be, when you're done, even if you don't say, give it to me every morning at 5, you can click the little clock symbol. I think you click the 3 dots, you click the clock symbol, and you say schedule. And then you schedule that task to show up in your threads. You can get a pop-up notification, push notification, or email.
I never heard this in my life.
Listen.
So what?
You didn't have to buy another tool. Not you got ChatGPT.
What version of chat do I have to have?
The $20 plan. The best $20 employee you've ever had.
Oh.
I've been saying this since 2022. The best $20 employee you've ever had. And I say that they don't need, jury duty, no lunch breaks, no bad attitude. Now, I might get a bad attitude, but you correct it. But yeah, $20 plan.
Wow. Can I just there's not a lot of times where I get blown away, but I feel like I've been just using ChatGPT because I literally only use it for email because I'll take somebody's email and, this just works for me. And then I'll just throw it in chat and say, hey, respond to this, just say this for me. And it sends back an email or writes me back an email so I can copy and paste. So it speeds me up. And the reason why Cynthia challenged me on this is I don't like using chat because I really enjoy the process of thinking. I've even got back to writing things down because I found myself going to chat for ideas and all these different things. And I'm like, bro, you built a business before. You've written books before. Like, you don't need this. So I wanted to be anti-chat for a while because I felt honestly like I wasn't writing in the same way that I was writing or appreciating not knowing or not wanting to just go read a book and learn and process how this relates to me. So I turned it off and I now only use it on the free version for just writing emails or just copying it and chopping up stuff. Oh, you about to make me upgrade.
Absolutely. Upgrade. No, I'm kidding. So you need to do that. Number one. Number two, I love that because this is also another mindset shift. AI, I gave you the quote, AI is meant to be an extension, not the extinction of us, right? I also want you to look at it as a teammate and a collaborator versus just a tool. I used to say that AI is, it's a tool, it's a tool, it's a tool.
Mm-hmm.
And it is. I don't want to overhumanize it. But when you have a tool, it's like having a hammer and you're like, this doesn't work for this job. I'm going to put it to the side. I need a wrench. Okay, you get a screwdriver. Oh, that's not it. Let me put it. Oh, here's the wrench. Okay, it works for this thing and that's it. When you have a good teammate, think about teams you've built. When you have a good teammate on your team, but they're just not on the right. I heard you mention Jim Collins earlier. Mm-hmm. You're not in the right seat on the bus. You're like, that's a good teammate though. So what do? You guide it. You guide him or her. You coach, you mentor, you course correct, right? Because this is a good member of the team. It just needs to be trained. It needs to be informed. That's so good. Now this is a collaborator with shared goals. And when it's trained properly, it goes to execute on your behalf because you trained it. So this is how you deploy your IP. This is how you deploy your expertise. This is how some people do check out for critical thinking, and I'm totally against that, right? What's another skill that's going to be required next 10 years? Critical thinking, right? So you use this as a collaborator, and a critical thinking partner with shared goals. You don't lose your IP, you deploy it, you scale it. So now that you've done that and it's out there working, you think higher about something else in the next thing.
Where do ethical considerations come in, right? I think that a lot of times, and we were having conversations earlier, where if I ask ChatGPT who I am, it's going to give me a specific demographic based upon the types of answers. Where does that come in, and how we leverage chat or the information that we're sharing with chat? Because, these platforms out there, AI lacks empathy. AI lacks judgment. It's,
Absolutely.
How would you describe what it is and what it isn't?
So again, I would say it's a teammate. It's still a tool, but elevate to a teammate, and will give you some insight on how to interact with it. However, there are clearly biases there. But what we can't do is ignore it, right? So the feedback mechanisms that are there, this is good, this is bad. This is, report certain feedback that you get. I'll shout out Aaron Reddick of Chat Black GPT felt like the history of African-American people were biased in the original Chat GPT. So she asked it some questions, about slavery and about history and Green Book and things like that. And it would totally miss the mark. So what did she do? She created Chat Black GPT. She got the people in the room and said, okay, no, we're going to preserve the history. Now, let me tell you how that progressed. She posted on LinkedIn. So she was in Michigan, and Rosa Parks the family of Rosa Parks, they did a mural. I think it was on the bus station downtown. And her family was there. And what ended up happening was she said, she spoke to them and said, how would you like the legacy of your dear Rosa Parks, our Rosa Parks, but your family member, depicted in AI? So now they're collaborating on what that would look like.
That's good.
So, that's taking action on something that you believe in. If you see images, report them. But AI is just as good as the people who made it.
That's so good.
So what we see right now is thoughts, intentions, biases, and more amplified, running around in these LLMs. For many people that don't know, AI has been around since 1956. It was open access in 2022.
What does that mean?
So 1956 at Dartmouth College at a convention, there were 8 or 10. It's even number. I'm looking at the picture in my head. Men of a homogeneous group of men that decided to call this artificial intelligence and said, this is what's coming. And they coined it artificial intelligence. Now I'm going to lean into this. 6 years later, the Jetsons came out. 6 years later, the Jetsons came out. And then it has proliferated. And then obviously machine learning, engineers, data scientists, etc., have had access, right? But then in 2022, that's when the darling of the ball hit open access market and ChatGPT came out. So now it's a wider exposure to what's possible. But AI is not new. So I say all that to say this. We might have a glimpse. We only have a glimpse of the exponential power of AI right now.
Let me ask you this, and I want you to finish, but I want to throw this in there because I thought through your example when you were talking of the crawling, the walking, and the flying.
Sure.
What is the capability of AI? Like, what is the furthest that this can go? Because as you were just explaining, from 6 years before the Jetsons and all of these different things, that's kind of scary if you really think about how far AI could really go, and I guess what parameters or safety nets are in place currently so that those things don't happen.
For sure. Going back to the Jetsons reference, a lot of those things that we thought were next level, seeing each other on the video, FaceTime, telehealth, robots. We don't have moving sidewalks yet, but hey, I don't know. New subdivision.
In the airport.
I mean, well, I know that, but there's just certain things that we just thought was like, oh my gosh, this will never happen. This is out of the world. And now there's commonplace, or it's either being worked on. Flying cars, all of that. So all of that to say that governance is of utmost importance. So that's why there's different levels of governance, our personal agency and how we use AI, pausing before we share information to check sources, to make sure that it's accurate and real information and not something that somebody made up, especially in this political climate, racial climate, all of that, right? The other thing is a corporate, nonprofit, organizational level where we say, okay, what is our AI policy? What is our AI governance policy? Like, we have personal responsibility. We cannot, if there's one thing we know, we cannot wait for the government to tell us and govern the whole nation and world, right? So we have to have personal agency on how AI is built in our organizations, how it's used, and what are those constraints, ethics, as well as that. And then there's the city municipality level, and then obviously the government, federal government as well. But our personal agency is reporting images that are not accurate, that include bias, that go against values, that are explicit. I don't know if you saw that, where they were trying to come out with the, so all of that's coming. The difference between this, because AI is still a tool, it's a tool and a teammate. But the difference between this and money and guns is the exponential detrimental effects that can happen if it goes wrong. Money in the wrong hands is a tool, right? Guns in the wrong hands, you might get shards, hit by a stray bullet. Exactly. But AI is around the globe. So, yeah.
When you go back to your crawl, walk, fly analogy, which I really appreciate, being an former educator myself.
Yes.
Because I can see it now. I can see the progression. When you look at movies like Iron Man, you've seen Iron Man?
Yes.
What type of AI is that? Is that something that's realistic, or is that the fly, or is that something that citizens and individuals like you and I could be able to utilize and create for our businesses? And maybe this is just a personal question for me, because I love that movie.
Man, I love the flow. We said we're gonna flow. We're flowing. We can get to some other fundraising stuff too. But for Iron Man, so my husband talks about me all the time. I'm like, I don't remember that part. So, however, this is what I do remember. I'm gonna say Iron Man, but then also The Matrix, and you can bring out anything that's not. So remember when he was moving things around with his hands?
Yes.
And with screenless?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's possible now.
Well, that's happening currently in government.
Correct, but also in citizens. So there is a screenless laptop. So, I'm a coffee shop person. Oh, I got some. Anyway, that's another story. I'm a coffee shop person. To get out of the home office, I'll plop the laptop down, and I love a big table and some elbow room. Well, you don't need that much elbow room with this. You put on glasses, and it's a screenless laptop. Like, yes, I have to send you the thing. This was like last October.
You've seen it in person?
I have seen a video. I have not seen it in person. So but the Meta glasses and all that's out.
Yeah.
So it's not far off. You put the glasses on and you can see your notifications and messages right now. But this was a screenless laptop where you're doing this and you're typing, and there's your backpack just got smaller, folks. Like, it's crazy. But the reason I love learning about this is to not, like, this is a good conversation, because we need to learn and know what's available and what's possible, so we don't get run over by the AI wave.
I'm not gonna lie. When you say certain things, my mind just that is so cool to me. And I want to just, for the audience, ask your questions, put your comments, because we're far left from my plan.
You are, right?
We talk about Iron Man. No,
Listen, collaboration.
I really feel like, because I hate, and not hate, there's so much I love this conversation because you're exposing me to the opportunity that exists in artificial intelligence rather than what's available to people that aren't really doing their research or in this field. I had the opportunity to go to the Forbes 30 under 30 event. It's a few years back in Detroit, and they were talking about,
by the way. But go ahead.
Oh, shout out to Detroit.
What up,
They were talking then. There was a guy there. I don't remember his name, but it was autonomous 18 wheelers and how they're getting ready to build a charging, a bridge that when the 18 wheelers are on the bridge, the tires are charging it as it's driving. So when I was there, I was like, oh my God, that's like, I love technology. And I feel like in another world, I would have been a software engineer or a developer. So this conversation is just like, this is everything for me.
Good. Look, we can run it back. We can run it back and do nonprofit and fundraising. But
no, literally,
the reason I love your perspective and what you just said is it brought me back to one of your other questions. Is this is the age of the thinker, of the visionary. That's AI has democratized creating. It has democratized being able to go and build a business, build an app, to affect an ecosystem and a market just like that. Using the IP, our strategic thinking. The biggest thing, the most critical thing is critical thinking. This is the age of the visionary. This is the age of the creator. And if you weren't a creator before, you're now you are. Like I used to use I'm gonna date myself. I used to use what you call that thing? Word art.
I remember word art.
You do? So word art, you make little curved words. Listen, you a whole cinematographer out here now with a
literally. You a Canva graph. I remember I used to talk about this a few years back, that people would say that I'm a graphic designer and they would be doing everything via Canva. And for people that actually are real designers,
that's me.
They would be looking at these people like, yo, like, this is crazy.
That's me.
It's really interesting how tools can create whole industries but it's also sad though, because when we look at published authors that actually write and actually script write and actually think through these types of concepts and these very innovative concepts, and then we have AI tools that people are using to just write books and then launch books. How do you feel about that? Because as somebody that's written all his books and actually wrote all his papers in college and earned a lot of my literature that I've pushed out, no shade to anybody, but how do you feel about those either trainers or people that are only using AI as mask to the information that they really don't know?
I love that question because that's another perspective, right? So I guess it's reevaluating what authenticity and cheating is, right? So is an author who has his IP and experience and wrote all the papers, and you see all the books I wrote, this is my loose leaf thesis. Both my parents were doctors in education. And I've seen the books, right? This is my first draft. You see this binder, So is it an issue to use the technology available to amplify your genius? Because
that's a tough one.
Yeah, your output is going to be totally different than mine because of your background, your experiences. If we started with a blank slate, it would be similar. But we're not. You have your experiences. You have your businesses you've built, the books you've written. I don't have that same experience. So the way you prompt and collaborate and have shared goals with AI will be different than mine. Your outcomes will be at a different level. So it's all about the ingredients. This Thanksgiving coming up. Everybody's macaroni and cheese ain't the same. It's not the same. And then, people want to put raisins and extra stuff in it.
not.
And I don't know if you've seen that. It was years ago, but there was the elders, the women elders of the family went to the young girl and said, "You messed up Thanksgiving. You messed up the recipe, right? Because you tried to flip it up and put something new in it." Well, your macaroni and cheese will be different than mine. I don't know how we got here. I guess I'm excited about
It's
Thanksgiving, but it's going to taste different, right? Because of your prompting. So when we have the mindset shift that this AI is a collaborator and not a copy paster. So I have, you have child protective services. I say I have copy paste services. Put that back in there. You need to tussle with that information a little more to make it sound like you, to put your original thoughts in there, right? Because have we ever had an original thought? Have the things that you created, has it been inspired by anyone else?
I think I've had original thoughts. I think there's a lot of people. I think I've had original thoughts. I think, well, that's a challenge. I think everything is inspired by something. But I think sometimes, though, I would be interested in hearing this conversation with a poll of individuals.
Oh, that'd be good.
Like, how many original thoughts have you really had? So do you not believe that anything is original?
I can't say that. I won't go that far left. However, I do believe a large majority, and this is not an advocate for AI everything and nothing's original. However, I almost said everything, but a whole lot close to everything is inspired by something else.
Yeah.
A mentor, a book, a movie, a manuscript.
That's fair.
Come on now. The Bible wasn't, come on, it's Bible by God. That's God's word, right? So, I mean, and then we write books from how we got inspired by the scripture. Especially in this AI age. It's so, my friend and I joke, because it's like we talk all the time. We're like, yeah, I thought of that. Well, I thought of that. These ideas seem so similar in this AI space because it's getting so, I don't want to say convoluted. It's getting so abundant that access to it and ideas from it may sound similar, but the X factor is you.
I think the future belongs not to the thinker, not to the idealist, but to the executor. I think that there's probably a lot of people that have had the same ideas of a book, a business, a podcast, whatever, but are sitting with it. And what I will say to anybody listening, your ideas mean nothing without execution.
Absolutely.
You may have, like, I even feel like when I was in college, I thought of, what if there was like a delivery food service? And then years later, Uber Eats and all DoorDash come out, and it's like, dang, I should have. And it's like, I thought of that first, but I didn't do anything with it.
I love that. So I agree with you. I'm not recanting my statement, but it still belongs to the visionary to think. Those that are not visionaries are not going to have anything to execute, right? So, but exactly. I do agree. Hence, AI Execution Club, shameless plug. Every week we get together to say, what are we going to make? Building a second brain. The author of that, Tiago Fort, he said, we only know what we make. You look at videos, you scroll, you look at this podcast, you scroll, you listen. Oh, it's good. It's like going to church and saying, this was a great sermon. What did he talk about? I'm not sure. It was good.
That's good.
We only know what we make. I don't know how to make an AI twin by looking at the video. I got to go make one. I don't know how to train AI like me unless I go train AI like me. Got to go make one. You have to make. You have to execute. So I totally agree with what you're saying. Shout out to AI Execution Club, school.com/AIX Club.
Cynthia, can you talk about the work that you're doing in regards to, your organization, as well as the AI Execution Club, and how people can get involved and invest in that as well?
Sure. And this is actually a limited time. It's actually free. It started out free as well. There will be an investment, but affiliate opportunities with that in the future. But the AI Execution Club, again, was born out of a personal pain point of me seeing all the cool things outside of what my tech stack. And I feel like we need a part 2, Kyle, but outside of your tech stack, there's still things to learn. So you don't fall, behind. I hate using that phrase. I got to get another one. But so you stay in the know and you have that AI agility. And during this time, I was saving. And one Saturday, I just checked myself, like I said, and I said, when are you going to use that? Like, how many? I mean, my bookmarks was organized, Kyle. I have folders. Oh, this is content. This is research. Like, when are you going back into those? Yeah. So that's when the AI Execution Club was formed. And like I said, 300 other people said, I do the same thing. So we come together and we co-work. But what we did was introduce skill sprints. And skill sprints is member-led. And a member comes to teach what they've been working on. A skill, right? Because some people could come in there and say, I don't know what to work on. This is an opportunity for them to learn. So you not only, we say we take the LSAT in the AI Execution Club. You learn, you share, and teach.
That's good.
Learn, share, and teach. So that's how
is it all specific to AI, or is it just kind of anything that we're working on?
It's anything you're working on using AI. Like, it's an AI Execution Club. So you don't get in there and make your dentist appointment or clean the kitchen. I invite the cameras to be on. I said, don't watch the soap operas in the background. I don't even know if they still have them, but it is AI related. So I did preparation for a slide deck with AI during that session for a session I had coming up, right? So it's not that you have to build a chat bot, but you can. Or you can say, I saw this post about AI, about the future of AI or agentic AI. I am going to read it and make my own post to demonstrate that I learned it. Because when you teach someone else, that's the highest form of mastery, right? So it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to be building something amazing. I mean, everything you do is amazing. But take a video, take a blog post, take a newsletter, take a concept and create something. What you have down at the bottom is I created a prompt sequence. We didn't really get to this part, but a prompt sequence for nonprofits for smarter fundraising. And my approach to that is falling in love with the problem. Fall in love with the problem you're solving. So that prompt sequence takes people through, what problem am I solving? You're really like reconvincing yourself. Like, oh yeah, I'm the stuff. Like this organization, we're really solving a big problem. Yeah. And then it leads you through empathy mapping. What is the people that I serve? What is their before state and their after state? Right? Before my services, before our services, and after. What are they thinking, feeling, doing? It's just a simple prompt sequence. I think it's like 10 prompts in there. You go through it and you understand your avatar that you're serving, but then you also have a donor avatar in there as well. How to communicate with them, how to connect with them. And that's what I see, the future is going to be like hyper personalization of that stuff. But this is a prompt sequence that can assist with that. It's just a bit.ly link. Donors love me. That's a positive affirmation as well. Say it. My donors love me. Every time you put up that link, say donors love me.
Thinking about smarter fundraising, could you give us some tools as we prepare for close that organizations, mission-driven organizations, nonprofits can use to be able to fundraise smarter?
Yeah, so I'm going to start with the good old legacy is ChatGPT for one. Because some people out there may not have the $300 subscription fee and other things. I want you to be able to start where you are. Yeah. So using ChatGPT as a co-collaborator, meaning you train it properly on your organization. What is your mission, your vision, your values? What problem do you solve? Use that prompt sequence that the link was just shared and really understand your problem and your donors and how to prospect them if you don't have the resources for a subscription at this point. Now, some other things that for the project Citizens of AI, we were looking at, and some other things is instrumental. Have you heard of that?
I haven't heard of that one.
It's the OG. It's not like it wasn't born yesterday, but it manages the grant process from prospecting.
Oh, instrumental. Yes.
Yeah, instrumental. Yeah. So, however, it is a ticket on that, right? So everyone may not be able to use that, but there's other things. Grantable is another one. Another one I want to introduce, just in case you haven't heard, is VentureKit. I really love VentureKit. Have you used that?
I know VentureKit.
I like that platform. So that gives you AI generated information that you can tweak, financials, SWOT analysis, pitch, all the way from inception to the pitch deck. So I do like that. And I think storytelling is a big part. So there's two platforms, senja.io, senja.io is a good platform to collect testimonials, because 90% of the battle is storytelling, right? The story that we tell to donors and the way we communicate the impact that we've had. So that's senja.io. And then Memory Fox is one that I've come across recently that is geared more towards nonprofits, but it allows you to tell your story, segment your testimonials, and do some personalization with AI in there as well.
How did you learn about these tools, and what would you recommend? Like, what's your final message to those that are in this space, that want to get involved in this space, that are mission-driven leaders, that are change makers, that are running organizations, to learn about these tools, adopt these tools so that it can start powering up their mission?
Yeah, so I started back decades ago with learning how to create my own databases when I needed data. And I said, this has to be right. I was in an automotive environment where it was hundreds of thousands of dollars a minute if the data wasn't right. So I had to get the data right. So I just had this propensity to build, like, okay, let me see how this does. So that's how I began it. It just transferred over to tools and systems, and then into AI and exploring that. I would caution, again, start with the problem that you want to solve and then investigate these tools. Learning that is, again, execution. Just like you said, take a pain point, rewire it, and optimize it with AI. And then evaluate these tools and how it is serving you. And in the process of the doing, you learn, this is for me or it's not, right? You have a tech stack that you have. This is what I use. And then you court other ones. You're married to these, but you court the other ones to say, no, this is not good enough for me to disrupt my entire workflow. So execution would be the most important things, and trying them out. But the way where do I start, is take a problem that you have and then pick a tool or a platform that you can use for that, to solve that problem.
Cynthia, I appreciate you. And the comment that just came up, shout out to Kiana. She's been super valuable today with questions and comments. She said something that I just want to highlight. Your insight, your knowledge, and your ability to just share it all is I'm so thankful. And I'm so grateful, because so many times thought leaders will come on platforms and spaces and like gatekeep information and not really give all the sauce, in fear of, I don't even know. So I really just want to say I appreciate you. I know I got us off on a tangent talking about Iron Man, talking about mac and cheese, and then all of these other things. But anybody listening, I want you to implement the things that she communicated. I think it's so important for us to be stacking our skills, upskilling ourselves, being aware of the potential digital divide that can happen if we're not prepared, and then the wealth gap that will continue to be exacerbated, and the things that we will lose out on and continue to lose access out on if we're not ready. So can you give one final pitch and just talk about why you're doing this work and how people can join your communities and invest in the work that you're doing?
Absolutely love that. Thank you so much for having me. It's been fun. I would say, again, I'm going to say this quote again, is AI is intended to be an extension of us, not the extinction of us. And to expound on that further, is AI needs to be integrated into your life in a healthy way, not just your job. Because when you think of it as this extra thing that you have to do, it's a task, it's a chore. But when you say, this is how I flow, I have this level of AI fluency, it's integrated and it shows in how you show up in spaces. AI can show you the how, the why and the what. Who are my donors? What's my mission? It can show you those things, but you do the how and how you show up in these spaces, how you show up in their inbox, how you show up in the meetings, how you show up in the boardroom, how you show up on social media. You're in control of the how. So it's super important to realize that AI is here to help. It has its downsides or detrimental sides if not managed, things that need to be governed. But this is not the time for you to sit out. It's time to stack those skills, use it, integrate it into your life, and then go crush it. This is the most democratized time to create, to see your visions come to life and to execute. So AI Execution Club is on the school platform, and I think maybe it's scrolling down there. Yep, it's scrolling down there as well. But then we also have Citizens of AI, where again we raised $250,250. I'm gonna count everything. But I am on LinkedIn, so we are building up that information so you can follow that directly. So right now, follow me on LinkedIn at Cynthia Respert, and you certainly will see the fruits of that coming out very shortly for Citizens of AI. And the mission for that is to take AI education to those shiny, unshiny places, the community centers, the coffee shops, the barber shops, where AI education is needed as well. AI for all.
Cynthia, this is the one to end the day right here. I don't even really want to do a closing speech. I just want to cut the recording off. What we have to do, we have to commit to doing a part 2 and actually like not talking about all the other stuff, but really talking about the things. And I would love, so I have a question, a final question. And this is for me. Are your 2 platforms only for women because it's AI Build Her as well as the Execution Club? Is it only for women, or can men or however people identify, can they join your organization?
AI Execution Club, both are for both are for everyone. And just for the AI Build Her Academy, men ask me all the time, and I say, listen, you can come. It's just you're going to be surrounded by a whole bunch of brilliant women, right? A whole bunch of brilliance. So there are more women, obviously. So that's the AI Builder Academy. And partially, that's another underlying reason the AI Execution Club was born, because they're like, what you got for me, right? So join us in the AI Execution Club. That's for everyone. Both of them are, but more men and women are in the AI Execution Club.
I love it.
Of AI is coming for everybody globally.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Cynthia, for your heart, for your wisdom, for how you've continued to show up in this space, for how you are setting the trail and the path for other people, for how you've allowed your education to be a bridge and not create divide, how you've been able to teach and provide so many gems, and you've led with heart, and you have not been a gatekeeper at all of information, how you've been a gate opener and allowed people in these communities and spaces. I definitely will be joining your community. So follow up with me via text, because, you know, after this, it'd be a lot of things. Sure. I will be joining the community, and anybody listening in, I want you to join her community. I want you to stay within her leadership, because there's some people that you run into that are experts, but then there's other people that are visionaries. And I want to be on the side of a Steve Jobs. I want to be on the side of an Elon Musk. I want to be on that side. Yes. And that's where you are, Cynthia. So I appreciate you.
I appreciate that. Could I indulge and give you one example?
Of course.
That was such a great close. And I hate to be like, but one more thing. But I think this is an important distinction, just to kind of drive one point home, is I want to ask you, how many phone numbers do you know right now? Off the top of your head.
Probably 5.
5. Back in the day, before all the technology.
About 30.
About 30. Oh, you had them written in a phone book, right? Yeah. So when we remove the pain point, the friction, then we also remove the practice. So we don't know phone numbers, because all we have to do is look at a person and hit their face. Or we say, hey, Siri, call Michael. Shout out to my husband. That's Michael. Hey, Siri, call Michael. We don't have to do that anymore. So this is wisdom on how to delegate those tasks. When you take away that friction, you also remove the practice. That's so good. Take away the friction of the things so that will free you up to think higher. The data collection and all those things, you will use this to get the data. So then you can strategically think about how to use it. So it won't be like those phone numbers, right? So that's what I mean with the invitation to think higher. I just wanted to share that example.
I appreciate you so much. Cynthia, where can we find you online?
CynthiaRespert.com is the website, CynthiaRespert.com, but on LinkedIn, working on the Instagram, y'all. I live in LinkedIn. I live in a LinkedIn neighborhood, but I frequent the suburbs of Instagram. So it's Cynthia Respert on both platforms, and then CynthiaRespert.com to learn more about me and the work that I'm doing.
Cynthia, I appreciate you so much. And again, thank you for joining us on Podcastathon 2025, and we'll see you next time.
Absolutely.
Anybody still with us? Ladies and gentlemen, what a day. From the very first session at 9 a.m. to this final moment, you showed up with energy, with curiosity, with amazing questions, with commitment, with consistency, and not just to learn, but to transform. And today wasn't simply a podcastathon, it was a masterclass. It was a masterclass in leadership. It was a masterclass in innovation, in resilience, communication, fundraising, culture, AI, technology, and the future of our organizations. We heard from executives pushing boundaries. We heard from visionaries like Cynthia reshaping the way that we've been able to do business and think. We've had culture shapers, we've had strategists, we've had entrepreneurs, we've had servant leaders, and every single one of them poured into us. And what made today special wasn't the length of the live stream, wasn't us getting cut off during the live stream. It was the depth of the conversations. It was the depth of the energy in the room. And we asked hard questions. We learned new language. We challenged old habits, and we confronted the way that we even limit ourselves. And there was so much that I learned. And my hope for anybody still tuned in is that you learn something as well. But let me just say something. And oftentimes I've given so many people their flowers publicly, and I thank you all so much for your affirmations in the comments. I've given so many people their flowers publicly, but none of this would have been able to be possible without those behind the scenes. So before we close, I want to just give a special acknowledgement to Kiana. Hopefully you're still listening in, and I just want to say thank you publicly for your creativity, for your strength, for your resilience, for your calm under the pressure, for your detail-focused leadership, and everything that you've done to be able to get me to this moment, to have the courage, to have the boldness, and to have the grit to be able to push through, even though today was challenging. Today wouldn't have been anything without my team. And I don't like to say behind me because they've really been able to build me up. But I just wanted to say that special thank you to you because I don't give you enough credit. Information, y'all, without implementation is just entertainment. Information without implementation is just entertainment. But information with intention, it becomes transformation. So I want you to leave with 3 questions. I want y'all to leave with 3 questions to carry into the next hour, the next week, the next month, the next quarter, and the next season of your life. What's one insight from today that challenged your old way of thinking? And what will you do with it? What will you do with it? Where in your leadership, your organization, or your mission have you been playing small? Where have you been playing small, and what bold steps are you willing to take today? Who did today remind you of, but who did today remind you of becoming? And this is my final question, because this is way more than 3, y'all, for y'all who are still listening. What's the next move? What's the next move that you're willing to make? Because as we move forward, I want you to remember this. You don't have to wait for permission to lead. You don't have to wait for permission or a title to create change. You do not have to wait for the perfect moment to build a platform. When you were called to build, you were called to impact, you were called to inspire, you were called to transform. And it gets me so emotional because this time last year, I did not have the courage. This time last year, I would not have been able to show up with the boldness. This time this year, earlier this year, I thought I lost it all. But through God, through community relationships, through connections, through intentionality, you have to believe in what you have inside of you. In 2 weeks, we were able to put together this whole event. With 2 weeks, we were able to put together something that has truly empowered other people. Whatever you are building, you need one yes. Whatever you are building, you need one person to believe in you, one person to invite you in their circle, one person to say yes, so that you can be able to build platforms that inspire so many people. I want you to go build it. I want you to go build transformative platforms. And I want to remind you that you can build a stage too. If you were not invited in these rooms, if you were not invited in these circles, if you haven't been invited into some of these critical conversations, into these boardrooms, then you go create it. There were so many times in my own career where I have not been invited into these rooms, where I have not been accepted to go speak on those major platforms, where I've went to conferences and I knew I could outspeak and I knew I could outperform those speakers on stage. So what did I do? I built something that was possible. When you are told no, you go build your yes. When you are told no, you go build your yes. So thank you so much for your time. I thank you all for your attention. I thank you for your openness. I thank you for how candid we were able to be in the comment section. I thank you for y'all staying professional in them comments, because let me tell y'all something. I was on a webinar last night with another group of people, and look, it was not as connected and professional as this has been. So I just thank y'all so much. And everybody, from the bottom of my heart, this wouldn't have been possible with every person that shared this, reposted this, spoke on this, performed, commented, engaged, whether you're on my YouTube platform, my Facebook platform, my LinkedIn platform. I just thank you. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to tell y'all this. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. The people that casted you out, they're going to be calling you for information and for insight. The people that forgot you, they're going to need you to be able to help them build their next thing. And the people that didn't believe in what you had to offer are going to ask you to build something next for them. Let's go build, let's go lead, let's go love, and let's go serve with purpose. Remember this, the energy you bring is the culture you create. If I can do this for 9.5 hours, y'all can go create miracles. Y'all can go create something amazing. I hope everybody has an absolute incredible evening. Go to upgrademyfundraising.com, upgrademyfundraising.com for your completely free course that I'm sending you to your email. And hit me up on LinkedIn. Hit me up with some testimonials, whether on Facebook or LinkedIn. Hit me up on the comment section on YouTube, and let's go build something amazing. Remember this question. What type of culture are you spreading? What type of culture are you spreading? Like I said earlier, the energy you bring is the culture you create. Make yours worth catching. I love you all. Have an incredible evening, and I'll see y'all next time.